The other thing that, people investors have to think about, and, and I'm talking about maybe investors that are just getting started and, maybe not recognize, or maybe apartment investors don't really realize that there's an amount of money needed to be invested into those shopping plazas when you have a vacancy. Because when you have a vacancy and you try to attract tenants, you know, depending on what tenant you're trying to attract, that you may have to renovate, or you may have to offer money for the renovation of the space, the build out, right? They call it tenant allowance, or tenant allowance, tenant incentive. Um, to renovate the space. And that could be a dollar amount, it could be free rent, it could be you building out the space for them. And, all that kind of factors in to, the overall operation of the property. So, and when leases come due, a lot of these leases, they might be triple net leases, meaning that that's the best lease to have in all of real estate. It's the most inclusive of all of the expenses. They'll pay the base rent, and then they'll pay the expenses of the operation of the property taxes. So the landlord may have no responsibility whatsoever. It depends on how all of that is structured. Mm-hmm. But, a good strategy is sometimes you can get into finding a plaza that has all gross leases. Maybe it's like an old mom and pop plaza, and they were just like, simple investors. They've owned it for a long time, and all their leases are just basic gross leases. If you convert a gross lease to a triple net lease with a new tenant, and you do that over time, and then you fill the building with all triple net tenants, your building is almost inherently worth a lot more just because of the strength of the lease.